This video will cover exchange rates and foreign currency. So it's in the applications unit 1 course, and the biggest thing that kids struggle with is knowing whether to use the buy or the sell rate. So I'm going to make sure that I cover both of those in this video. So the sell rate is what the exchange place will sell you foreign currency for. So you take your $250 Australian and you want to change that to euros because you're going to Europe, they will use the sell rate to determine how much they're going to give you for your 250 Australian. Then there's the buy rate. So the buy rate is what the exchange place will buy the foreign currency back for. So that's if you come home from your holiday in Europe and you've got 200 euros left over and you want to change that back to Australian dollars, they will then use the buy rate to work out how many Australian dollars they'll give you. So we'll get into some examples. Now, the way I do exchange rate questions is I do them the same every single time because it helps me work out whether I have to do times or divide, and you won't make the mistake of accidentally doing division when you should have done multiplication or anything like that using this method. So the first example is how many euros would I get for 250 Australian? So the first thing we need to realise is that we're going to be looking at the sell rate because we are exchanging Australian money for foreign money. So we need to look at our euro exchange rate, and you can see on here the euro rate and the sell rate is here, 0.598576. So what we do is we write 1 AUD equals 0.598576 euro. We know we've got 250 Australian and we need to find how many euros. So we write our X there. And what we do is we use fractions to keep them in proportion, and we always try to keep the unknown on the top and on the left. So what I mean by that is we do X over 0.598576 equals, because we did X over 0.598576, so we did the bottom over the top, we're going to do the same for the Australian. So we do 250 over 1. Now, using your math knowledge, what we do is we would move the 0.598576 to the other side, and it's currently division, so we would multiply it. So I would then have X equals 250 times 0.598576 over 1, which gives us 149.64, or roughly 150 euros. Example 2 says, if I received 776 US dollars, how much Australian did I exchange? Round your answer to the nearest dollar. So we are still using the sell rate here because I still exchanged Australian dollars to receive US money. But this time I've been told the amount of US dollars I received for the Australian. So we're still going to look at the US sell rate, and we're still going to write our statement down. 1 AUD is equal to 0.646739 US. But this time we know that we have been given 776 US dollars, and we need to know how many Australian dollars we exchanged. So we write our statement, 1 equals the rate and X equals $776. Now, the same thing applies. We have the unknown on the top and on the left. So when I write my statement this time, I'm going to have X over 1, because that's the Australian side, and I've put the X on the top and on the left. And then for the US dollars, I need to use the same proportion. So I'm going to put the bottom over the top. So 700 equals 776 divided by 0.646739. And now you can see all I would be doing would be moving the 1 over to the other side. But if you multiply anything by 1, it's gives you the same answer. So we would just do 776 divided by 0.646739, and to the nearest dollar we get X equals 1,200 Australian dollars. So we originally took 1,200 Australian dollars to the exchange place and received 776 US dollars in return. So for the final example, we've got, for a holiday, I changed 3,000 Australian dollars to pounds, British pounds. If I spent 980 pounds, how much Australian will I get back on return? So there's a bit of a two-part question here. Firstly, we need to know how many pounds were we given before we went on our holiday. So that's going to be using the sell rate. Then we've got to work out how many pounds we're coming home with. And then we're going to use the buy rate when we return to work out how many Australian dollars they're going to give us back. So what we'll start with is working out how many pounds we got originally. So we're going to do the same as what we've done before. We'll have 1 AUD equals 0.511873, and we're exchanging 3,000 for an unknown amount. So again, we're going to do X over 0.511873 equals 3,000 over 1. So if I move the exchange rate over to the other side, it just becomes a multiplication. So we do 3,000 times 0.511873, which gives us 1,536 pounds. To the nearest pound, I've rounded for that one. Okay, so we left the country with 1,536 pounds. We've spent 980 pounds. So what we need to then do is work out 1,536, take away 980, which gives us 556 pounds that we're coming home with. So now we have to look at our buy rate, because that's what that's the rate they're going to use to buy it back. So all we have to do is do 556 multiplied by 1.953608, and that gives us 1,086 Australian dollars to the nearest dollar. So that's how much the exchange place would give us in Australian dollars if we exchange with them 556 pounds, and they would use the buy rate, not the sell rate, because they are buying back foreign currency and giving us Australian money. Hopefully this video has helped you understand exchange rates and foreign currency and that buy and sell rate difference.